हेलो गाइज, वेलकम टू द कोड कल्चर। लास्ट लेक्चर में हमने देखा हाउ टू प्रिंट राइट एंगल ट्राइंगल विद इन फर्स्ट क्वाड्रेंट, मीन्स दिस पैटर्न। ये पैटर्न हमने प्रिंट किया लास्ट वीडियो में। अब हम देखेंगे सेकंड क्वाड्रेंट, दैट इज दिस पैटर्न। ओके, सो गौर से देखिए इस पैटर्न को। इफ आई वांट टू प्रिंट दिस, I have to print something here, that is I will print, what will I print? The space. Okay, so assume that is spaces are here, the space is printed here. Okay, so for the first row how many spaces are there? 4 spaces are there. After that I am printing only one star. So it means that in this program, in the program of second quadrant of right angle triangle, the first for loop is for number of rows and second for loop is for this space and third for loop is for number of stars. So always remember, while printing space you have to take one extra inner for loop. Okay, now first for loop is for the number of rows. Always remember it is also similar to the previous one. Second for loop is for the number of space and third for loop is for the number of stars. So how many for loops are required for this loop, for this pattern? I will require total 3 for loop. One is outer for loop, that is obviously for number of rows, and 2 inner for loops. One is for space and one is for stars. Okay, now first for loop is for number of rows. So take for I in range 1, n plus 1. It is similar to the previous one. First we are taking value n from user, and after that we are taking first for loop. First for loop is number of rows. We have n rows. Okay, so got it. In this outer for loop I have 2 inner for loop, first and second. Okay, so in first for loop I will print space and in the second for loop I will print star. Okay, so I will start with first inner for loop, that is suppose for j in range. Okay, what is the range here? So consider if I and j, if I value is 1, how many spaces are there? 4 spaces are there. If I value is 1, 4 spaces are there. If I value is 2, how many spaces are there? 3 spaces are there. If I value is 3, how many spaces are there? 2 spaces are there. If I value is 4, only 1 space is there. And if I value is 5, 0 space is there. So I want to create a for loop so that it will change every time based on value of I. Okay, so for this condition I am taking, so we have total 2 points. We can start anywhere, stop anywhere in any range function. So I am starting with I here. Okay, why I? Because if I start with I, means I am starting with 1 here. Here I am starting with 2, but I am going up to n only. So how many times this for loop will repeat at the first time? If my n value is 5, assume that n value is 5. Okay, so I am starting with I, means I am starting with 1. So 1 to 5. So 5 is nothing but 4 plus 1. So how many times this for loop will repeat? 4 times. That is I am starting with 1 and going up to 4. Okay, so 1 plus 4, 1 to 4 plus 1, that is inner for loop will repeat 4 times. Okay, so in this first case our condition is satisfying for this case. Now check for the second condition. If my I value is 2, if I value is 2 means we are starting with 2 and going up to 5 means 4, n means 5, that is 4 plus 1. 2 to 4 means what? How many times we are repeating? For 2, for 3 and for 4. It means that how many times we are repeating for I value 2? 3 times we are repeating the for loop. So we are printing 3 spaces here. Okay, after that next when I value is 3, so I am starting with 3 and going up to 4. 4 plus 1 is 4. So 3 to 4, how many times I am repeating? 2 times. So for 3, 2 times. For again 4, it is 1 time, and for 5 our condition will not satisfy. Okay, so in that time there is no space for the I value 5. Okay, so this is the equation, or this is the limit to print first inner for loop. After that, what we have to print here in this for loop? I am going to print what? Space. Okay, so simply just write empty string comma end function. That is to avoid new line. Okay, now so from starting, first for loop is for number of rows, the second for loop is for number of space, and now third for loop is for what? Number of stars. Okay, so take third for loop. You can take j here also. So for j in range Okay, so I want to take one limit here. So what is the limit? So now consider this again. Similarly, if my I value is 1, how many stars are there? Only 1 star. Okay, if I value is 2, how many stars are there? 2 stars. I value is 3, how many stars are there? 3 stars. If I value is 4, how many stars are there? 4 stars. If I value is 5, 5 stars are there. Okay, so consider this condition and take the limits for the second inner for loop. Okay, so for this we know what are these limits. Okay, हमने ऑलरेडी लास्ट लेक्चर में सेम प्रोग्राम किया है फॉर द सेम कंडीशन. ओके, 1 to 1 मीन्स द नंबर ऑफ आई वैल्यू जो रहेगा उतने स्टार प्रिंट करने. सो डायरेक्टली आई कैन टेक 1 comma I plus 1, the previous limit of previous program, previous inner loop. Okay, that is to print first quadrant. Okay, this limit is as same as the limit of inner for loop of first quadrant. So 1 comma I plus 1 means what we are printing? 1 to 1 plus 1. That is, for 1 value I am printing only 1 star. For 2 value I am printing 2 stars. For 3 I am printing 3 stars. So in this for loop I am going to print simply a star, comma, end equals to string, empty string. Okay, so this both the for loops are going to repeat under this outer for loop. It means that for I value 1, for the first I value I am going to execute this for loop first. After that I am going to execute this for loop. It means that if I value is 1, I will repeat this for loop for this space 4 times. Again after that I value will become 1 only, and after that I am repeating this for loop how many times? 1 time. So we will get 1 star, and after this star I have to go to the new line. So after this for loop I will go to the new line by just printing print. Okay, so for I value 1, 4 spaces, 1 star is there, and I am going to new line. After that if I value is 2, I value 2 means 2 to 4, that is this for loop will repeat 3 times, we will get 3 space, and after that I am going to the next for loop, that is 2 stars are there. Okay, so how it will become run? So 1 to 2 plus 1 means we will get 2, this for loop will get repeat 2 times. So what will I get? 2 stars. So similarly for I value 3, 2 spaces means 2 times this for loop will repeat. After that 3 times this for loop will repeat. After that we will go to the new line. So this will happen again and again. So similarly for the next I value 4 will get 1 space, 4 stars, and the last value of I, that is suppose n value is 5, then I last value of I is 5, so we will get 0 space and 5 stars. Okay, so this is all about second quadrant. In this program we are using totally 3 loops. First loop is always for number of rows, second loop is always for number of space because space is before stars, and after that the third for loop, that is for number of stars. Okay, so this is all about second quadrant right angle triangle. Okay, so this is all about the second quadrant right angle triangle. Okay, we'll do this on Google Colab or Jupyter Notebook. Okay, we'll execute the same program, that is second quadrant star pattern. First we are taking value from user by taking any variable. Just take one variable. Suppose I am taking n variable. Okay, so n, I can put any value to the n. After that take for loop. Okay, and for loop is always for first for loop is always for number of rows. Okay, how many rows we have? N rows. So I am taking range 1 to n plus 1. After that second for loop is for number of columns. Okay, number of columns we have means first, that is second for loop is this for loop is for the number of spaces. Okay, columns means number of spaces. How many space I want? So based on the logic we have explained already in the theory part. Okay, that is the range is I to n. So by using this for loop I am printing star. Okay, so star, so I am printing space. First for loop is for space, first inner for loop is for space, second inner for loop is for star. So where we have range 1 to I. Okay, after that in the second for loop I am printing star, second inner for loop. After that we print. Okay, by using this I can execute the program. So take any value, suppose 7, we will get the pattern with 7 number of rows. Okay, so now what we are getting, not 7, actually that is not 1 comma I, we have to print 1 comma I plus n. Okay, so we will get 1 extra. Actually 7 rows we require, so we will get 7 rows. So by executing this we will get this 7 rows. Got it? Now the important thing is so this is the second quadrant. But if I want to print the rows and columns like this, we can print directly like this. Okay, so how we can do this? So instead of printing star here, I can print I value. Okay, so just what I am doing is I am adding one space here because there is no space after I. We'll execute the same. Suppose value is 7. Okay, we'll get this. Okay. Similarly, we can print the j value also. Okay, so we'll get this output. Okay, the rows number is equal. So this is also similar to the previous program. So we'll get this. Okay. So guys, so this is all about the second quadrant right angle triangle. Okay, so लास्ट लेक्चर में हमने फर्स्ट क्वाड्रेंट प्रिंट किया, इस लेक्चर में हमने सेकंड क्वाड्रेंट प्रिंट किया. ओके, नेक्स्ट लेक्चर में हम थर्ड और फोर्थ क्वाड्रेंट भी देखेंगे. ओके, अगर आपको प्रीवियस वीडियोस और ये वीडियो अगर अच्छा लगा हो तो हमारे पेज को लाइक कीजिए, शेयर कीजिए और सब्सक्राइब कीजिए. थैंक यू.